Who we are and how we engage with the world is much stronger indicators of how our children will do than what we know about parenting. Are you the adult you want your child to grow up to be? You heard in the previous session what could be done as a parent to determine a positive outcome. Some of the realities just are not part of your life, but it can be. We leave a legacy. How? By what our children remember about us. And we leave an inheritance by what we give them to work with. What is the inheritance and the legacy that you leave? I have yet in my life found a person where there is a strong parental relationship, significant person relationship, where they do not know about their destiny or where they battle to find their destiny. You as a parent can be an anchor for your child, must be an anchor for your child. In Proverbs 24, verse 3 to 4, it says, by wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. Lord, will you give this people wisdom and understanding and knowledge today, in the name of Jesus. In 2004, God gave me a very clear picture of a track that will stop, where parents will not have the privileges as they had about the educational choices of their children. And I started to teach parents how to be more secure in their vulnerability as parents. The point is, people are still standing in a queue for their education as it was. They stand in the queues on the station to get on the train, but the train will not be able to go to the end because the tracks have stopped, as you can see in the picture. And so since in 2004, I advise parents to have their homes like a safe place, like Noah and Ark, where they can come to rest and consolation, and our homes will be a place where they teach different things to their children. And so guess what happened? In 2020, we all got locked down to our homes. Yet, for some parents, it brought huge discomfort. We have an example of Jesus where he had close association with his disciples. He had personal contact with him, and they spoke directly to every mind, and he appealed to every heart. He modeled an example of close association, and they were part of his inner circle. He chose to use a small circle. They pressed close beside him so that they might lose nothing of his instruction. Do your children want to be close to you to not lose anything of your instruction? Loving human relationships prepare a child's heart for closeness with Father God. In the book of Ken Robinson, in his book on the element, he speaks about the new paradigm in human capacity. He speaks about the nurturing of human talent. He says that we must, the element is the meeting between natural aptitude and personal passion. Being in your element gives you a sense of identity, purpose, and well-being. We recognize in our children, we encourage, we facilitate, we stretch. We actually can only do that in close association. But because of fear, and this is my call to you today, for these 7 factors for the fear not to be there, and for the 7 factors not to be in your life. Lack of eternal perspective. We need to have a long view, the ability to see what does God see, what God see in eternity, what does He see, what is the backdrop of our lives from God's perspective. We need to have a Christian worldview, His eyes, His mouth, His ears, His heart. We need to ask, we need to pray for that. A place to call home, our own family, our godly friends, and our spiritual family. Godly character and integrity that we need to strive to build. Inner strength, endurance, grit, resilience, and conviction. The truth, discernment, facts, knowledge, wisdom. That's what I prayed for you. And then hope. Trusting that God has a plan and a purpose for your life that will supersede present circumstances. You know, it is so simple. It happens at your kitchen table. If you look at the picture there, you look at the picture of your own home where there's close association, connection, collaboration, understanding, and missions. You train your children to become mission-orientated. The message must go out, even if it's only the message of good parenting. If the parent believes that they are the first curriculum, then it can happen. It's a supernatural, natural way that God meant that we would give our time, give our ethos, our skills, our values. We use exactly what we have and what we can give. The role of the parents, the father and the mother. It can only happen if the dads are not living a total, superficial, fractional life where they rush to work, rush to love, rush to have relationship, rush to do spiritual input to the children. No, that is not the answer. The answer is an integrated life where your calling, your career, your community, your creativity, it's one. And you have convergence in your life. You are content that your house is the first church. It is the first mission ground where you can stand before God and say, God, I was as faithful as I could be. You present yourself then as a leader to help grow the character of your children that can go either a virtue or a vice. The only way we make a virtue grow is to train the child's conscience and instill in them a love for others. To breed a vice is the most powerful agent of love for self, and it begins from a very, very young age. The fathers, specifically, needs to be the agent to help grow the virtues in their families. So what do I say? It's a natural abundance and life of reality around your kitchen table, where you equip children for real life, in real life. It's true education and training. Children can be children again. They can be outside. They can climb trees. Rushed, overworked, overstimulated, superficial thinking is unhealthy for children. We need to protect the young mind, says Dr. Jane Healy. Some children are not even ready for formal school before the age of 10. And so we need to keep in the laws of childhood to see when children are ready for the next step. Otherwise, it would be having them in an abusive and a dangerous situation. Movement is so important for the young child. What are we feeding our children? What are we allowing them to learn? The conventional academic curriculum is focused entirely on the world around us and pays little attention to the inner world, where children can also learn emotional intelligence and wisdom. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Are they thinkers? Do they learn how to think, to be critical thinkers? Ellen White says, it's the work of true education to develop this power, to train the youth to be thinkers and not just reflectors of other men's thoughts. What a child digs out for himself becomes his own possession. Does your child really learn? Can you say that they really learn at school on a daily basis? In Romans 12 it says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of the mind, so that you may prove what the will of God is, that which is good and acceptable and perfect. Is that our aims in life? Do we protect the innocence and the vulnerability of our children? You've seen in the previous presentation about the sacredly able parent need to protect the vulnerability and then to learn grit. Trauma must be prevented at all cost. Trauma leads our brains to be wired for fear. The children's brains are literally shaped by traumatic experiences which can lead to problems with anger, addiction, and criminal activities in adulthood. The child's vulnerability needs to be protected. Protected vulnerability equals grit. So what does it say? It says that we get stretched in life, but we come back to our original place. And when we protect the heart of the child, they bend and they come back. If we do not protect the vulnerability, then there is a place of weakness. Trauma brings a place of weakness, and it never comes back to the original position. This needs to be treated and needs to be healed. Otherwise, it's only a reactive grid or a reaction in our lives. The essence of our home then is to have a place where there's vulnerability. And vulnerability is what shapes who we are and what our children will be. It is how we show ourselves to the world. It is the birthplace of every emotion that we can experience. It is the birthplace also of empathy. And empathy is very important for teamwork, for collaboration, and for interdependent work together. Even innovation and creativity are born only from vulnerability. The sacredness then in education, where the parents are the first educator, the first curriculum, is where the mother nurtures this heart and the father unpacks. He sees what resources is needed for the next step. In Timothy 2 verse 5 it says, "Yet a woman shall live in restored dignity by means of her children, receiving the blessing that comes from raising them as consecrated children nurtured in faith and in love, walking in wisdom." And for the dad, it's in Proverbs 22 verse 6, "Train up the child the way they shall go." And we learn resilience, grit in this training process. I will see what I'm leading towards. If you look at this photo, you see this family is uprooted and they are on their way to another nation. Maybe they will go in a boat. They have no economy that they can rely on. And it says that resilient people survive a setback and a famine much better. The ones with the advantage in any setback, in any pandemic situation, are the ones that's already resilient. They survive much better. What is then the future for your children? Have you invested in their hearts in such a way that they are secure to be grown by you? Do you know that they will make it? Do you know that they will last in any economy? Then you need to say to yourself that you need to be intentional about growing grit in your children so that they have it before it is needed. Lighthouse 360 Degree is a company that is over Dynamism Institute and CAP Education as well as Step Up. Dynamism Institute, that was faithful for 20 years, has then developed a system called UNCAP Education, where there's liberty and simplicity for all people to learn. The Dynamism Institute has for many years bring healing to the nation by empowering families to be empowered families, and in that way they bring healing to the nation. Simplicity and liberty in education is what's needed for our educational system to be celebrating people again, for people to sing and to have joy in the educational process. Step Up is a rebuilding program, mainly for people 15 years and older, people that needs to be re-educated about what true education is truly about, and that there's ability and opportunities for all people. It is the rebuilding of the nation by connected, faithful people that has resources and abilities and a passion for education, so that people are not in despair, standing on a platform waiting for an educational train that will take them nowhere. You can see examples of how uncapped education can be used in families, with individuals, as a community where churches and businesses decided to have uncapped centers. Fathers that's working from home and children learning from home, communities benefiting from it. Orphans can stay as well as learn. Remedial centers, special needs help, and buildings that can be rebuilt for educational and skills development opportunities. The uncapped educational biometrics is a manifesto that all people must learn, and the restrictions must be taken away. The individuality of a person must be acknowledged, and a program a learning path according to this raw material of the person must be used to bring out the best of what God has put there. And at a young age already, people must have purpose and passion for their future.